All right, so coming up with the polynomial equation, when they give you the roots, if square root of 2 is a root, that means that x minus the square root of 2 is a factor. Like the reverse of teeing it up. Because if you solve this, you'd have x equals square root of 2, which is a root. Same thing for 3 plus I. If that is a root, that means x minus, parentheses, 3 plus I, is a factor. There's also something we talked about this year that said that whenever you have a imaginary root or a irrational root, they always happen with their conjugate pair. So 3 plus I always is going to happen with 3 minus I. If 3 plus I is a root, so is 3 minus I. So because we know 3 plus I, we also know x minus 3 minus I is also a root. Same thing with the square root term. Since it's x minus 2, it's also x plus square root of 2. X minus square root of 2, x plus square root of 2. They also happen with their conjugate pair. So we've got 4 roots that we need to multiply out. So FOIL the x plus root 2, x minus root 2. X times x is x squared. Since they are a difference of squares pattern, the minus square root of 2 and the positive square root of 2 cancels out, and that ends up just being minus positive square root of 2 times negative square root of 2 is just negative 2. So it's x squared minus 2. Over with the imaginary roots, x minus, let's distribute these negatives. So that's x minus 3 minus I, x minus 3 plus I. There's a few different shortcuts you could use. My favorite is just to group the x minus 3's. Think of them together. And then similar to over here, we have minus I plus I, which is the difference of squares type pattern. So it's x minus 3 squared, just like we had x squared. And then negative I times positive I is negative I squared. So multiplying this out, I squared is negative 1, so minus a negative 1 means plus 1. And we have to multiply out x minus 3 squared. So x minus 3 times x minus 3 is x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 1. From the plus 1 right there. We can combine the 9 plus 1 to be 10, so this is x squared minus 6x plus 10. And now we need to multiply those two polynomials together. So it's x squared times all 3 pieces, and then the negative 2 times all 3 terms. X squared times x squared is x to the 4th. X squared times negative 6x. X squared times 10. And then the negative 2 times x squared. Negative 2 times negative 6, x, and negative 2 times 10. Combine like terms and you're done. That's x to the fourth minus 6x cubed. Combine those, you get 8x squared plus 12x minus 20. There's your polynomial.